Larry Sharpe has traveled the country and has personally visited every county in New York State, listening to people's concerns. The Sharpe Way is a show where answers, solutions, and common ground can be found so that together we can forge a new way forward. The Sharpe Way is the way to mutual respect, where no one has to convert to be heard, because you can be as liberal or as conservative as you want, as long as you aren't forcing your beliefs on others. Welcome to Sharpe Way Radio.
Oh, yes, it is Larry Sharpe here on Sharpe Way Radio on the Voice of Liberty. The number to call after the first break, 585-346-3000. You know, there's a lot of snow where I live here in New York City right now. Ton of snow. And with all that snow, I was thinking about how challenging it is for people to get around, move, all those things. It made me think of when I was a kid living in the Bronx, and same issues when we had tough times and such. I remember one time when the power went out. It was that big blackout back in the 70s. Very scary for us in the South Bronx. If you're old enough, you may remember that. Big blackout back then. But then that got me thinking of someplace else, which was how the Bronx was back in the 70s. And for some of you remember, there were stories about the Bronx burning. Remember the Bronx burning? Why was the Bronx burning? If you're old enough, you remember, but maybe you're not. There were landlords who recognized that it was literally cheaper to have someone burn their buildings to the ground than to maintain their buildings. I'm not joking. That was a thing. So we're like, you know what? Let's burn the thing down. It's better to collect whatever insurance money I can and move on because I can't handle it. So there was a bunch of places throughout the Bronx that were completely burned out, trashed, gone. Now, why would I think about that now? Well, because we're about to go that way again. Yes, we are. We have here in New York City, Mr. Mayor Mamdani, who has decided that he, of course, is going to freeze the rent. He's going to help us out and give us free buses and all the cool things. And it sounded amazing. I mean, his rhetoric was good. He is going to allow us to feel the warmth of collectivism. See, that sounds amazing. And then he went to the budget and he went, oh, wait, there's no money. In fact, we're billions in deficit and we owe money. Oh, wait. And he recognized something that most socialists, it takes time for them to recognize. But overall, they eventually recognize it. Just takes time, which is socialism is amazing until you run out of someone else's money. Then not so great. That's when it's not so awesome. But it was good until you ran out of money. And what Mamdani didn't realize is, we ran out of money a long time ago. Long time ago, we ran out of money. Someone told him we still had other people's money. He thought he was going to come in and it's going to be good. But oh no, that money's been gone a long time. So he shows up and he says, wait a minute. Okay. He falls back to, of course, what he would fall back to. What else would you think? We're going to tax the rich. It's what I said. We'll tax the rich people. That'll work because that always works, except for never. It works every time, except for never. It's always. So he says that. Now, not recognizing that Kathy Hochul, Queen Kathy, first of her name, she has decided, no, I can't tell people I'm going to raise taxes. I mean, I'm gonna, but I can't tell them that because I have an election now. So I have to pretend like I'm not going to raise taxes and then hope that enough people will buy that lie and vote for me. That's what she has to do. Now, it's absolutely a lie, and she knows it. So she's like, well, I'll just tell this lie, and if enough suckers believe it, I'll still be governor. Then I can make up some excuse and then move on and raise taxes again. Because of course I'm going to do that. Duh. So Mamdani goes, wait a minute. Okay, I got a problem now. I've already run out of other people's money, which I didn't count on. And Kathy Hochul was telling me how awesome I am just 5 minutes ago until she got Delgado out of the race. And now he's out of the race, and she's not my best friend anymore. Wait a minute. I thought she loved me. But no, she doesn't love you. She just said that to get Delgado out of the race. And boy, did that work. Well done, Kathy Hochul. That worked. So now he's like, well, now what do I do? Aha. I got you. I will raise property taxes. That'll teach him. That's what he said. That'll teach him. See, if you don't, Governor, if you don't let me tax all the evil rich people and make them stay, force them to stay, and make them pay my taxes, then I'm going to raise property tax on everybody. And I'm going to blame you. I'm going to say it's your fault that I had to do it. I had no choice. I was trapped. I had no choice. I had to raise property taxes. And that's what he said. He said, I'm going to have to do it. I have no choice. Now, here's the funny part. If he had no choice, didn't he know that before he walked into that room? Before he took the mantle of mayor? Shouldn't you have figured that one out before you got there? You didn't, did you? You just thought the faucet always just runs and money just always comes out of it. The money just keeps coming out. What do I care? Stupid rich people. They'll pay what I tell them to pay. Or maybe not. Maybe not. So, yeah. Any case, the question becomes, is this real? And I'm not joking. Is Mamdani's threat real? In other words, is he doing it just to pressure Kathy Hochul to give him his taxation, or will he really go through with a 9.5% property tax? If he does, I'm sorry, property tax increase, not property. We already got that increase. A 9.5% property tax increase. Now, you might say, well, Larry, that's fine because that's the evil rich people. See, you don't get it. The evil rich people, they will own property. Nobody else does, and only the evil rich people own it, so they'll pay, and nobody else will. See, Mamdani's a genius. Well, you might think that, but you would be wrong. You would be absolutely wrong. Wealthy people do own lots of land. True. But most of them, the land they own, is through corporations. And those corporations have a whole bunch of lawyers and issues and concerns, whatever, all that kind of good stuff. So if the property tax gets so high that they can't afford it for whatever reason, they will just go to court. Or worse, they'll declare bankruptcy. Yeah. You might go, but Larry, that's terrible. Oh, no, they got their cash already. They declare bankruptcy. Sorry. They threaten bankruptcy. They don't actually go bankrupt. Because once they threaten bankruptcy, these are people of massive buildings. Who's going to take that massive building? If you're paying attention, and I am, there's already problems here, particularly with commercial real estate in New York City. And in New York City, you're a big owner of a building, and all of a sudden the government says, you owe us money or you owe us something. You go, I'm not going to pay. I'm just not going to pay. Well, we'll sue. Good. I'm not coming to court. Put as much fines as you want on me. Not going to pay. Well, then we'll take your building. Take it. You've made it too expensive for me to have anymore. Just take it. And they go, but we don't want it. I know you don't, because no one will buy it. Because if someone would buy it, I would sell it and pay my debt. But no one wants the building. So you take it. And the bank goes, I don't want it. I can't sell it either. I know. If you could sell it, I could sell it. in which case I would, and I'd pay my debt. So here's the answer. Who's going to take care of this? And here's what happens every time. They renegotiate. And who keeps the building? The landlord. Why? He's the only one who knows how to fix the building. He's the only one with the resources and the knowledge to actually make the building work again. He's the only one. The bank doesn't know how. The government doesn't know how. Only he does. So he keeps it. That's how it actually works. Wait a minute. Is that why they keep having all the real estate no matter what? Yes. That's why you have literally over half of the real estate owners in New York City own over 1,000 units. Over 1,000. And let's say that tax bill gets really high. 20 million, 40 million, $100 million. So I'm a landlord, which actually I'm not a landlord. In reality, I'm a management company run by an LLC. In reality, that's how it actually works. The management company goes to the city and says, we owe you $100 million. We're never paying that. That's not going to happen. So I'll tell you what we're going to do. We'll pay you $30 million. And you can call it quits. And the city goes, $30 million or nothing? Correct. City goes, okay, take $30 million. Happens all the time. All right. What if you're a small landlord and you own like 2 apartment buildings in your house you own? And you have property tax that goes up and you can't afford it. What happens? Oh, you're screwed. You're just screwed. You don't have lawyers. You can't negotiate with the city. The bank will take your house. Oh, yeah, because someone will buy a house. They're not going to buy, a massive commercial real estate building, or they're not going to buy an apartment that has 100, 200 units in it. They're not going to buy that. But they'll buy yours. They'll take that in a heartbeat. They'll knock it down, give it to the guy who just negotiated with them, and he'll build a bigger building. So this taxation, people will tell you, oh, it'll get the rich because they have the big buildings and they have the big land. Well, I've just explained to you. Oh, no, it won't. The people who Mamdani said he would help, he will hurt. The people who he said he will punish, he won't touch at all. Everything right now is not going the way he wants to go. These ideas are not going to work. They were never going to work. They sounded nice. I'll give them that. This one still sounds nice. It does. It's going to fail because it always fails. Am I wrong? You can tell me. 585-346-3000. Larry Sharpe on Sharpe Radio, the voice of liberty. Back with your calls and your chat after the break.
Bob Savage here again for Aaron Moore. You're probably trying to head off staggering heating bills this bitter winter without shivering and dressing in layers indoors. Good thing you can do what so many have discovered, that you can slash your heating costs this fall and winter with Aaron Moore infrared zone heaters while cranking down your furnace. Even better, Aaron Moore heat is quiet, clean, and even, and healthier. No burning of oxygen and particulates to dry out your nose, sinuses, and skin. And Aaron Moore heaters are completely safe for children and pets. No exposed hot surfaces or heating elements to pose shock or fire hazards. Choose the best-selling Comfort Deluxe or the compact Comfort Buddy for smaller areas. Enter discount code WYSL in your shopping cart and save. Free shipping in the continental USA. Copper PTC technology means there are no bulbs to replace ever. Built like a battleship, maintenance-free Aaron Moore infrared zone heaters are the way to really save on heating bills like we do at the Voice of Liberty. Call 800-707-8725 or visit air_more.com.
The Rochester Auto Show, Friday, February 27th through Sunday, March 1st at the Convention Center. Discount tickets at Tops Markets. For details, visit therochesterautoshow.com. Driving tomorrow. The future starts here.
Sharpe Radio on the Voice of Liberty.
Oh, yes, it is Larry Sharpe. Sharpe Radio on the Voice of Liberty. 585-346-3000. I've been talking about New York City right now. I have been. It is true. Talking about what we're trying to achieve here, I guess, in theory, but it ain't working. What's Mamdani going to do? What does he want to do? Let me quickly grab a call if I could. This is Keith. Keith, how are you?
Angst about the midterms. Republicans better get on the stick. I'm going to call this call Insider Baseball with you, Mr. Sharpe providing the insights.
Okay.
As bad as Mamdani, as you were stating, thinks he might have it, Republicans are even in a worse boat. Starting with Hochul, as much as all of us don't like her, she and other Democrat officials are at least trying to come across as professional, having to do with the snowstorm. So now, this is why I'm calling it insider baseball. You had a caller last week, Tony, who said correctly, no one is supporting Blakeman, and that's true. Insider baseball, what happened between Trump and Miss Stefanik? I always pronounce Stefanik, but I guess all the rest of you downstate, Stefanik. What happened with Trump and Elise? He did not give her proper support, just as us true conservatives are blaming the Trumpster for losing on our side of the ledger, New Jersey and Virginia. She should have been in there, and then I guess she was not getting the proper support. Trump would not right out of the gate endorse her, and then Blakeman, with his big ego from downstate, wanted a primary, and Elise said, no family concerns, I won't put up with that. And now I guess she's going to serve out her term in Congress, and for now that'll be it for her. But really, in closing, what's going on with Republicans? Why is Trump holding back on endorsements? It should have been female versus female. It's going to look bad for me to say it, for a guy criticizing a woman, no matter how bad she Hochul is. But it would have been better female versus female. But just
okay, you gave me a lot, Keith. Let me grab a couple of these. All right, I'll go back to front if I can. Let me sandwich it. First piece you just mentioned. You are correct. Literally, the Republican Party could not have put up a worse candidate to go against Hochul. Blakeman is the literally worst candidate they could have picked. They make, but Larry, what man? I'm going to tell you a man who could go against her. A person of color. Yes, I know that sounds horrible, but you and I, Keith, we don't like it, but we know it's true. An old white guy against a woman is not going to look good in New York State. And you might go, Larry, that's this politics, not politics. That's the reality. You can be mad at it, and I am. I don't like that fact. I don't support that fact. And you never hear me talk about identity politics like that, except when it actually comes into play. And in New York State, it does. I wish it didn't, but it does. So if you want to put a man there, that man better have some melanin in his skin. Oh, by the way, I have some of that. So that might be an answer, number one. Number two, Hochul actually is doing well in New York State relatively. And I'm going to stress that, Keith, relatively. She is at her highest approval rating she's ever been. Now, she's never been over 50 ever. So again, it's relative. She's still lower below 50, but she's been in the garbage. So relatively, she's doing very well. Your question about Stefanik. Look, the reality of it is Stefanik had her problems too, as all Republicans in New York State will. That's true. But when it came to fighting Hochul, way better. You are correct. Not just that, she was way more popular. You're right. Not just that, she was known across the state. Again, Keith, you are correct. By every metric that you could measure her, she was a far better candidate than Blakeman. You are correct. And most people knew her and liked her. Some didn't. Of course, she's a human being. Some people didn't like her. But most people did, particularly Republicans. And they knew who she was. True. So what happens? You're right. Again, Trump did not endorse her. He just kind of stood back. Why? He wasn't sure. There were people who were pushing certain things. What's the right answer? How do we push for the state? What about the 2026? And Trump's hesitation is what gave Blakeman the opportunity. Blakeman always wanted to run. He talked about it last year. He did a bait and switch on his own people. He told his people in Nassau County, I'm going to be the great Nassau guy. Then they voted him. He took all that money he put into his governor race. He bait and switched him. Utterly unethical. Totally legal. I am not accusing him of doing anything illegal. It is absolutely legal. In my view, unethical. He teased them into this, pushed into this, and that's where his money's coming from. You're right. He's not raising much money. He's taking money from his other campaigns and putting into this campaign. So also true. When Stefanik saw that rush of money, she recognized, oh my God, there may not be a pathway to victory. Why should I fight this thing so I can lose? And she didn't have Trump on her side anymore. So why would I even sit here and try to fight when I have Trump on my side? And a more important piece, why is she not running anymore? Because once she was supposed to go to the UN, she stepped down from all her committee seats. That's how they all have power and make money, is committee seats. Well, she abandoned them already because she was supposed to go to the UN. Well, when she couldn't go to the UN, okay, she's running for governor. Now she can't win governor. Why stay in Congress? She's lost all of her power. So she's not going to stay in Congress, and she's not going to run for governor. What you're seeing across this state is so many Republicans dropping out of races. There's at least a half a dozen I can think of, top of my head. Why? There's no path to victory. The New York GOP has surrendered. And you can be mad at me all day long and call me names all day long. Look at reality. 2006, 2010, 2014, 2018, 2022. Loss. 5 losses in a row. And what do? Same old playbook. They have accepted surrender. They are the New York GOP is sacrificing New York State for the national GOP. Shame on the leadership. Shame on all of them. And you see it, Keith. You bring it up. I've been bringing this up for years. And people keep going, Larry, you're going to spoil stuff. I'm the only guy with a shot to do anything. The New York GOP has surrendered. It's obvious. Everything you said. I wish you were wrong, Keith. I wish I could fight you and show you how wrong you are. But I can't because you are correct.
Well, in closing, Republicans are stupid. In the last survey with Elise, she was closing within 5 points of Hochul. And Hochul is now swamping Brucey by 30.
Yep. The best Bruce Blakeman ever does is about 15 to 20 points behind her. And the worst he does is 30 points. Now, the opposite's with Stefanik. Stefanik, her worst was 15. Her best was 5. Again, you are correct. Thank you for the call, Keith. I appreciate it. So, guys, I'm sorry. I got a little bit heated. I know, but Keith got me going. But yes, it's true. He's right. It drives me crazy that still all Republicans can do is just yell Hochul bad. That's all they can do. No ideas, no anything. And Stefanik had a way better chance of winning than Blakeman did. Blakeman has 0 chance of winning. And if you're out there thinking, well, Larry, you got to get behind Blakeman so he can lose too, for that, no thank you. Blakeman should get behind me. I'm the guy who can actually win this thing. I'm the guy who can make impact. I'm the guy who crossed this country. I'm the guy who has ideas. I'm the guy who talks to you. I'm the guy you hear every week. I'm the guy who goes out to the places to meet you and talk to you. He's not. Anyway, thank you, Keith. You got me all riled up. Let me grab a couple comments if I could. So John says, cannot wait for the Friday fundraiser. Oh, thank you. Guys, if any of you want to see me, I will be out again next weekend. It's all snowing us in right now. So Thursday, February 26th, I will be at the Park Diner at 6 p.m. in Binghamton. Friday, I will be at the Crossways Tavern in Ilion, New York. That's at noon for lunch. Friday night, there will be a fundraiser at the Rail Line in Syracuse. So if you want to be out there, please pop over there. Head over to my website, LarrySharpe.com. Check that out. Saturday, I'll be at the Nutcracker Restaurant in Webster. Yes, right near Rochester. That'll be Saturday at 2 p.m. Come see me if you can. And then at 6:30, I'll be at the WMC North in Elmira. And then Sunday, March 1st, I'll be at the Warwick Valley Community Center in Warwick at noon. If you care, head over to my Facebook page or to my website. See where I am, come by. Except for the one exception, Syracuse at 6. All the rest are free. Come on by, say hi. You can yell at me, Keith, if you want to. Oh, good. I appreciate it. So is Keith right? Is Mamdani right? You can tell me. 585-346-3000. Larry Sharpe, Sharpe Radio, the voice of liberty. Back with your calls and your chat. I see you after the break.
voice of liberty.
WYSL.
Avon, Rochester, WLEA, WLEA-FM, Hornell, New York. Canisteo Valley Update.
The issue of chronic absenteeism is something we discussed recently with Canisteo Republican Assemblyman Joe Sempolinski. Sempolinski maintains you got to go to school.
You can't just not be in school. If we're going to find a curriculum that works, find a program that works, that's great, but you got to be in school. And you still have to fulfill the basic requirement of being in school. And just that you don't want to do it can't be the answer.
And Sempolinski says from seeing the statistics from school boards across the state, it looks like this is a bigger problem than you might think.
That's 1/4 of students now. It's an enormous problem. If kids aren't in school, they can't learn. And the statistics that I've seen, it was a problem before COVID, but it got much worse during and after COVID. And then when the pandemic ended, things didn't go back to the way they were.
Brian O'Neill for the Voice of Liberty.
Here's the latest forecast from the News 10 NBC Weather Center for tonight. We'll see mostly cloudy skies, a few snow showers out there, a little colder. We'll dip down near 10. There could be a coating to an inch or two of snow on Tuesday. Mostly cloudy, a cold day near 20. A little bit of snow Tuesday night. Will end early Wednesday morning with up to a couple of inches and a little breezy in the 30s Wednesday afternoon. I'm Rich Cadilia for the Voice of Liberty.
Victor Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram helps you conquer the snow and cold with go-anywhere safety and security you can only get in a Jeep. Lease a 2025 Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo 4x4, only $259 a month for 27 months, 7,500 miles per year. Or how about a 2026 Jeep Compass Limited SUV, $189 a month for 27 months, 7,500 miles per year, must have lease loyalty. The 2026 Jeep Wrangler Sport S Convertible is $199 a month for 39 months, 7,500 miles per year, must have current Wrangler or Grand Cherokee hybrid lease. Want to pick up? The 2026 Ram 1500 Bighorn Lone Star Crew Cab is just $289 a month for 39 months. 10,000 miles per year, must have lease loyalty. All deals, $2,500 cash or trade down. Other conditions may apply. We welcome Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram customers in Victor, Canandaigua, Macedon, Fairport, and Finger Lakes. Visit the most beautiful new vehicle sales and service dealership in the area, Victor Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, 6484 Route 96, just east of Victor.
FM Talk.
You'll be comfortable with the best. Turnbull Heating and Air.
Turnbull Heating and Air celebrates 60 years of service, expertise, and reliability in Western New York. Get $750 off any newly installed heating or cooling system. And Turnbull also wants to reach out to experienced HVAC residential and commercial technicians, as well as those just starting that career, to join our family of experts. The path to your future on the Turnbull team can include tuition reimbursement, paid training, and potential apprenticeships. Call Turnbull about your future as an HVAC tech at 585-501-9100. 585-501-9100. Keeping Western New Yorkers comfortable with the best for over 60 years now. Turnbull Heating and Air.
You'll be comfortable with the best. Turnbull Heating and Air.
Virginia Cartwright welcomes you to the 64th season for the Maple Tree Inn. It's the late winter break, the early sign of spring that brings a smile to every face. Folks all over the region wouldn't miss it. A visit to Cartwright's Maple Tree Inn, nestled in the forests outside Angelica, New York. They specialize in one thing only: buckwheat pancakes served family style, topped with the Cartwright family's signature maple syrup from thousands of taps in the Maple Grove right outside the restaurant. Eggs as you like them, maple milkshakes, and the Cartwright's own seasoned sausage are great accompaniments. A rustic setting and scenic trip to the Maple Tree Inn are all part of the fun. Find out why families regularly make the trek from Rochester, Buffalo, and all over the southern tier, even Canada, Germany, and Japan, just to experience this sweet treat. Cartwright's Maple Tree Inn, only open through April 4th. 585-567-8181. Get more information and driving directions at cartwrightsmapletreeinn.com.
Whether you're looking for a bite or a beer, Rohrbach Brewing Company is the perfect spot. Located at 3859 Buffalo Road, the Rohrbach Brew Pub offers German and American entrees, a vast array of handcrafted ales and lagers, and Friday fish fries. Visit rohrbachs.com.
Did you know the Livingston County Department of Health provides vaccines to adults and children who have no provider or no or low health insurance coverage? Call 585-243-7299 and schedule an appointment today. That's 585-243-7299.
Sharpe Radio on the voice of liberty.
Oh, yes, it is Larry Sharpe. Sharpe Radio here on the voice of liberty. 585-346-3000 is the number. We have been talking about the New York GOP, talking about Mamdani trying to, I guess, get something done. Don't know. So, yes. HVAX asked a very interesting question. He says, Larry, do you actually listen to the ads and news reports on your show during the breaks? I do. I like our sponsors. I support them. I think they're great. So I do. Yes, I actually listen to them. So yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy they're supporting the show. Of course. So yes. I don't know why you asked the question, but I do. So, all righty. Let me walk down a couple of these. John says, Mamdani better prepare for people to leave the city for Jersey, Connecticut, and Massachusetts. The thing is, John, most people who leave, if they don't go to, say, Florida, the most common place is Florida, clearly. It's a stereotype because it's true. Most people who leave New York go to Florida. However, they often stop. And the place they stop by usually is actually Jersey or Pennsylvania. Sometimes Connecticut, rarely Massachusetts. New Yorkers rarely go north or east. They tend to go west or south. That's tendency. But you're right. They tend to do that a lot. He also goes on to say, or even upstate New York. That has been a thing, which a lot of people aren't happy about, to be forward with you. Because a lot of New York City people who are tired of the city, they move to the Hudson Valley. That's where they go. They go to, Dutchess County, Greene County. They do stuff like that, right? And then the people who are there are like, we don't want you. That's what they're saying. I feel sorry, but it's true. And they start coming up there. So you're right. There is some of that. But at one point, New York State just becomes unbearable. One of the biggest problems we have, John, and you know this, I'm preaching the choir with you, but a lot of people, they simply have surrendered. So they don't bother. They don't bother paying any attention. They don't bother voting. They don't do any of that. So yes. Mike Voss in the house. He says, notice he took the option of cutting spending and higher efficiency off the table. I mean, he's a socialist, right, Mike? I mean, come on. So, yeah. You just said, did you see that dog bark? Yeah, he's a dog. He barked. Yeah. As if people did not notice what he did. He will tax because he wants to punish non-socialists. No. Let me push back on this one, Mike. He will tax because he knows nothing else. That's why he'll do it. He can't imagine any other answer. That's what it is. He also believes that taxation is not theft. He thinks taxation is valuable. He thinks taxation is righteous. I have trouble saying it. It's so horrible to even say. But he actually believes that. He thinks it's righteous. He taxes you, Mike, and you don't want to pay? It's because you're selfish. You're a bad person, see? He's a good person, so he taxes you. And if you were a good person, Mike, you would pay your taxes. But since you don't want to pay them, you're a bad, evil person. He is righteous, and you're evil. I wish I was joking. I'm not. That's how many of them think. Of course he would do it. It's the right answer. Mastermind Hour says, taxation is state-sponsored theft. True, unless you're a socialist, in which case it is righteous and you're a selfish person. So my question to you, Mastermind, is why do you hate the children? Why are you so selfish? Why do you want to kill poor people? Why are you a bad person? Just saying. That's all. Scott says, who are you? If you're watching, I'm a very handsome man, and that's what matters. If you're listening, I'm a very smart man. So either one, you pick. That's who I am, Scott. If you have a chance, just Google Larry Sharpe. Do some homework, brother. Do some homework. I'm here. I'm here to save the state. What did Reagan say? We're here from the government, and I'm here to help. I'm here not from the government, and I'm here to help. So there we go. I hope that was helpful. So yes. All righty. A lot of people are talking about the e-files. I'll call it that because I'm also going on YouTube, so I have to watch my words. And I think that's a big deal. I do. I think it's a big deal. I think this is where Trump is failing. Trump is failing, particularly on communication. You can't ignore this. You got to take this head on. And what I'll tell you is the best example I can show you. And that was RFK Jr. RFK Jr., as soon as it was coming out, he came right out and he said, I was on the plane at this time. I was with this person. This is what I did. This is why I did it. And he was very open. He's like, it's a cool private jet. I wanted to be on it. I took it with my family and we went here, we went there. He said it up front. He put everything up front. That's why there's no e-file scandal with him right now, because everything he said was true and it's there. He did this, there it is. So no one's talking about him when it comes to the e-files. Other stuff, yes, but not that. So Trump should have done the same thing. His communication failed. He should have said, here's what I did. Here's where I was. Here's how it happened. And then it comes out and they go, whatever. He said it already. I get it. So, yeah, I'm with you. There's definitely a piece. So, all righty. Let me see if I can grab this again. All right. HVAC asked the question. Oh, because you listen to the commercials. Okay. This is why you asked that question. Why do you have to be in school? You have to be in school in New York State for a very specific reason. Because in New York State, we have made education a right. It is actually in our Constitution. I know. And you might go, Larry, that sounds amazing. Education's in your Constitution. Isn't that awesome? No, that's terrible. And you might go, why is it terrible? Because the second we did that, HVAC soldier, the second we did that, we decided that the state owns your children. What? Yes. Every other right that we have is not for minors. It's for adults, right? So we, as adults, parents, have rights. We decide, right? So you create schools, you create laws for schools, and you say laws, you have to send your kid to school, whatever. Great. But we used to educate our kids locally all the time. Schoolhouses, churches, homeschooling, private schooling. It was completely fine. But then the government said, no, we have to change things because we care. See, HVAC, there we go again. Why do you hate the children? That's your problem. You hate children. I love the children. So I'm going to pass a law that forces stuff. Will the kids read any better? No. Will they be any better off? No. But will I be able to take them away from the parents so that I can get both parents to work and pay taxes? Yes. That I'll be able to do. So I'll be able to take your children away, put them in school all day, which will basically be daycare. The government can now indoctrinate your children, and you, mom, go off to work and pay my taxes. Okay? Stop sitting at home with your children. Stop that. Get your butt to work and pay me taxes. That's why they have to be in school, HVAC. You should know that already, but you're selfish. So
Roger.
That's your problem. So let me grab a call if I could. This is Roger. Roger, how are you?
Larry, get out there and shovel that snow.
I don't have enough ID. I don't have enough ID, Roger.
I heard
I would
about
shovel the
that.
snow. You forget,
I heard
black
about
people
that.
can't get ID. Didn't you know that? Voter IDs, we don't know how to get. I'm black. I can't get an ID. I don't know how. It's impossible.
Oh, Don't let me go down that path. I got something else to say. So here's the
I
thing.
would shovel, but I'm black, so I can't swim. I don't know what a computer is, and I can't get ID. So no.
So I'm not going to go down that path because I got a lot to say about that. But dealing
Okay.
with this, I told you he's as much of a socialist as Robbie from Rising is a libertarian. I understand.
Yes. You're not wrong.
The Democrats are cosplayers of socialism. They are not the real deal. They just fool you guys on the right. But real socialists are not Democrats. DSA are cosplayers whose leadership keeps you in the Democrat Party, just like the Working Families Party. Number two, he knew when he was your state assemblyman that New York City mayor is the least powerful mayor in the country because the city encompasses more than one county, 5 to be exact, which means he knew Adams had to come to him and others to get certain things done. So he knew taxing the rich, and to be specific, the governor is not going to raise taxes on the rich. She would never do that. She'd do it on us, but not her big money donors. So maybe he overestimated his leverage with the governor, especially now that Delgado has dropped out.
Yes.
There are two solutions to this. One, when he was assemblyman, he should have got together with some state senators to pass the New York Public Banking Act that would allow mayors, like New York City mayor, to where tax deposits would be used to mark up and finance infrastructure projects, creating jobs, while the local tax generated from the city income tax would be used to pay back the principal and low interest rate, which would be used to build a surplus, used to finance city services, all the city services.
I'm okay with with public banks. I'm okay with local bank. I'm okay with all these things. Absolutely. So look, I'm sorry, I'm up on a break, Roger. But yeah, look, to be forward, what Roger's saying is you want to have another answer that isn't just more taxes, but something else. You want to have an answer where actual citizens have actual ownership. I agree with that completely. I'm not against people having ownership. I think it's a great idea. I just don't want to be forced. If I'm going to walk down a socialist line, it's got to be voluntarily and local. Then if you want to do it, up to you. So I'll cover that again. It's a good point, Roger. I'll bring it up in the next segment. I'm up against a break right now. It's Larry Sharpe, Sharpe Radio on the Voice of Liberty, 585-346-3000. Back with your calls and more of your chat after the break.
Debunking advertising from the law office of Christopher Johnson. One ad some injury attorneys inundate you with, "What's your case worth? Call us and find out." You know, nobody can tell you, quote, what your case is worth over the phone. Nobody knows. The ultimate answer to, quote, what your case is worth involves weeks or months of research, evaluation, and preparation. Many factors go into any compensation you might get, like applicable law, who's actually at fault, how much insurance coverage there is, and many, many other factors. At the law office of Christopher Johnson, the singular focus is getting your life back on track after an accident or injury. That takes money, and it helps when the advice and legal advice you get has a one-on-one focus informed by straight talk. Christopher Johnson Attorney, car, truck, motorcycle accidents, personal injury, and DWI defense. Call 585-415-3803. 585-415-3803.
The youth of our city are in a new crisis. Criminal justice reform has created the consequences of no consequences and generated a whole new generation of 12 to 17-year-old kids committing serious crimes. Never before have we had this level of youthful offenders, but 90% of these kids are just trying to do the right thing and need a safe sanctuary to retreat to. That's Rochester Youth for Christ. You can be a part of this solution by giving generously and regularly at yfcrochester.org/donate.
Sharpe Radio on the Voice of Liberty.
Yes. I am here, Larry Sharpe, on Sharpe Radio, the Voice of Liberty. So happy that you're giving me a small chunk of your afternoon. So, I want to bring up what Roger was talking about. And it's the idea of real socialism. And he has a point. If you talk to many modern day socialists, many of them, meaning American modern days, they will talk about things like, well, what socialism actually is workers owning the means of production. Okay, I'm not against that idea. Worker co-ops, credit unions for banking, things like that. I'm not against those ideas at all. The problem is there's no one who's actually talking about that. What do I mean by that? For those of you who care, I went on my Larry Sharpe YouTube page and I went down all of Mamdani's policies, every one of them. And every one I went down, there was not one where it was about people owning anything. It was about government owning. See, here's the difference. I'm okay with the idea of individuals, communities, people owning things, of course. But when you say the government owns it and that means the people own it, that's where I'm like, no, there's a difference. Government is government. People are people. And my example I'll give you. If a government wants to say, and I would say this, hey, I think co-ops are wonderful. If you want to have a worker co-op, you should be treated exactly the same as a business. And I should support and talk about it. The value of people owning their own businesses, workers owning the business. Nothing wrong with that. In fact, if you had more of that, you'd have less need for unions because you'd have more ownership, direct democracy within your own businesses. That's fine. But I don't need the government to force that or have the government be the mediator there. Let people who think a worker ownership is the right answer, let them do it. That's the key. That's socialism, yes, but it's voluntary and it's individual people doing it. Go. Look, we have it throughout the state. Yeah, you may have it in your own life. Many families are voluntarily socialist. They share their funds amongst themselves. Awesome. The Amish don't require insurance. Why? They're socialist, but they're voluntarily socialist. Government doesn't force them. You can leave if you don't like it. No problem whatsoever. Voluntarily enjoy. I'm a libertarian. You do what you think works best for you and your family and your community. And I have no problem whatsoever with community banks, no problem whatsoever with credit unions, no problem whatsoever with public banks, no worries. If the people, local people want it and they voluntarily jump on board, let's do it. Which is why I'm not against citizen ballot initiatives. This is people deciding that they want something. I'm okay with that. So Roger often calls about that, and I want to make sure that's true, that the people understood what I was talking about. So yes. All righty. Let's see here. I'm going to grab it. Key says, as a Floridian, please stay home and fight for it instead of coming here and voting for similar bad candidates. Thank you, Keith. I agree. I would like people to stay here and fight. I understand why people leave. I do. I'm not mad at them for leaving. However, I wish they'd stay with me and fight. I agree with you, Keith. I hope they listen to you. Nick says, did Trump not support Elise for New York governor because she didn't take the UN job? No, the opposite. She wanted that job. She quit her other positions within Congress to hit that job. He told her to stay. He took it away. Why? Because Kathy Hochul was threatening him that he wouldn't be able to pass his big, beautiful bill. So he required her to stay so that he can get that vote. Yet again, sacrificing New York for the federal government. So no, the opposite is true. So yeah. Kiko's going to say, if you want to bet in New York, just vote Larry Sharpe. True. Absolutely. All righty. Adam says, residents that have been living in Rochester, New York their whole lives can't survive the influx of high wealth residents from New York City buying cheap properties here. It's cheap to New York City residents, but to us, no. Well, this goes back to my ownership piece, Adam. Right? Gentrification is only bad if you're a renter. If you're an owner, it's awesome. Well, I think I talked about the idea of starting with literally public housing and making it rent to own. So if it's rent to own, people begin to own their own properties. Ownership mentality. Not, I don't care. It's not mine. Let it fall apart. Who cares? No, it's mine. I own it. Now, when the rich people from New York City show up, your property value goes up. Okay, I'm good. That's not a problem. The more ownership we have, the better it is, and the less people are concerned. So I agree with you. The way of doing that is not stopping people from leaving or forcing people to stay. It's about more ownership and a better New York City. So less people leave New York City and more people in Rochester own their homes. That's the important piece. That's what's critical. So yes. All right. See if I can go here. One more of these. Nooner says, Larry, isn't Mamdani a trust fund baby? Doesn't he come from a privileged, wealthy background? Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. He doesn't know what it's like to fight his way through things. He doesn't. Yes. He doesn't at all. So yes. All righty. See if I can walk down this road. Let's see. Oh, John is mad at me. He says, he's a sellout. Used to be a decent principled guy. John, you have no idea what you're talking about. But that's okay. I appreciate your engagement. Please keep gauging whatsoever. I have not changed one of my policies ever. I would ask the question, have you written me a check yet? Have you? If you have, then we're buddies again. If you haven't, you're just another virtue signaler. Either one are fine. You can be either. You're not required to write me a check. You should, though, but you're not required to. So, or credit card. Both work. Both work. So, all righty. Let's see here. I grabbed some more of these. Paula says, Kathy can help you with swimming, IDs, and computers right before you beat her in her gubernatorial election. That would be nice. I like that. That'll be amazing. You know what? I'll make a deal. We'll do a video together. She can help me with swimming, help me get an ID so I can vote, right? Because, you know, black people can't get voter IDs. They don't know how. And computers. So she can help all of us. See that, Paula? She does love us after all. Our queen. She's a generous goddess. She is. She's generous. Absolutely. Paula goes on to say, I saw how nasty some of the streets of New York are. Mamdani could not run a Taco Bell, let alone the largest city in America. Yeah. However, he does have good rhetoric. I'll give him that, right? He does have good rhetoric. Gene says, I'm married. Will I be able to vote? Oh, wait, I'm not a Democrat or Republican, so I won't be able to vote anyway. Well, yeah, I do love the idea how, you know, the Democrats have told us that if the SAVE Act passes, 60 some odd thousand, a million, married women won't vote anymore. Remember that story? They're not fear-mongering. Yeah. So that's one. I love how Larry's low-key slapbacks. I appreciate that too, my friend. Guys, if you want to come see me this weekend, I will be out all over the place. I'll be in Webster also. Check me out, LarrySharpe.com, to see where I'm going, so you can check me out. I want to say thank you so much for giving me a small chunk of your afternoon. I will see you all very soon.